Here, welcome to day 2,755 of What You Have to Know. 2,755 days, mostly in a row. I think I missed one day in there when I had COVID in 2019. Actually, Christmas of 2019. I had COVID and I was very sick, and Christmas Day could not even barely get my head off the couch, much less create any content or videos that day. But otherwise, 2,755 days in a row, I have hopped online and shared lessons learned, what's working, what's not working, the good, bad, the ugly, as I originally moved from the brick and mortar corporate world of business where I owned and operated different businesses, bought, sold, merged, grew, shrunk, divested myself of different businesses while I worked in corporate America for over a quarter century in different capacities, corporate capacities, mostly at the corporate level, in quality, the quality field of quality. Because I liked quality, because I could stick my nose in everybody's businesses. To me, quality was about processes and systems and procedures and how everything was done and interacted with one another in order to create the outcomes that we wanted for the people that we were here to serve. And so that meant I got to work with usually the owner or the CEO of the company and the leadership team, as well as sometimes, often I was part of that team, but I got to work with them to make systemic changes that made better results automatic. And I love that. When we put a system in place and we don't count on human beings remembering to do everything, when we document things, we get better results. So today we're talking about emotional energy. And I shared 5 different ways to increase our emotional energy, because when we have higher emotional energy, we make better decisions. We're more clear. We're more focused. We engage with other people in a more positive way, etc. And I talked about how do you measure emotional energy? How do you measure it for yourself and for your organization? And then how do you go about increasing it and taking care of it? And I'm not going to reiterate. I guess I will reiterate those here because I think they're important. How do we measure it? Well, I do a daily check-in. First thing in the morning when I wake up, I ask myself, well, how am I feeling today? What am I thinking about? How emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually am I feeling today? And I rate myself on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being, of course, awesome. 1 being, I need to just do a meditation for 15 minutes because I'm not in the right state, or I'm not in the right emotional state, or I still feel exhausted. Then energy journaling is another way to assess how we're doing. What times, and this is such a powerful way to know ourselves and be more self-aware, both personally and professionally. When am I super positive and super high energy and super focused? There's certain times of the day we all have our own internal clock or our own internal drum that beats differently for each and every one of us. I happen to be a morning person, always have been, but my dad and I are like the only ones in my family that are morning people. Everybody else, would like to sleep in, etc. Saturday morning, my whole life, I was up at like 5 a.m. Most of my life, I've been up at or before 5 a.m. since I was a little teeny baby. And guess what? The rest of my family didn't want to get up at 5 a.m. So what is your high emotional and low emotional times? We all have high emotional and low emotional times during the 24-hour period that is a day. Do you know what those are for yourself? Energy journal, and we can use energy journaling to track that. Feedback from other people. Other people will tell us if we're brave enough to ask them, hey, when do you think I have the highest emotional energy? When do you think I have the lowest emotional energy? Now, I tend to be a very emotional human being, even though I pretend I'm not, and I act like I'm not, and I think that I'm not, and I believe that I'm not. I absolutely, positively, totally am. And those I love and care about will tell me when I am being high and low energy, emotional energy, because I will ask them. And then physiological clues. We all have clues and things that show up in our body when we are high or low emotional energy. When I'm low emotional energy, I get headaches. I also get those due to the weather. And those of us with different aches and pains in our body, we know that when we feel different things in certain parts of our body, it can indicate to us that we're either stressed out, we're exhausted, overly tired, or something else is going on that is draining us, that's impacting our emotional as well as our physical, mental, spiritual energy. I find if I do too much social media, or if I comment too much on stuff in ways that don't feel great to me, like usually I make snide comments, then, and that doesn't feel good to me. I do that when I'm in a low emotional energy state. And so I know just to stay off and not do certain things when I am feeling that way. Usually there's ways to increase our social energy. We can prioritize sleep and rest. We can engage in meaningful activities. When we're engaging in things that are important to us, we are present. We are mindful. We are grateful that we were able to participate in those things. And all those things increase our emotional energy. We set boundaries. We need to set boundaries in our personal as well as our professional lives, for ourselves and for others. I don't know about you, but I have guidelines and rules and boundaries for my own person, for my self-care, for my decisions, for what I will and will not tolerate. But if it's in alignment with my core values, yes. If it's against any of my core values, it's an automatic no. Guess what? That makes decision-making, or what I say no to, and setting boundaries very, very easy. And then finally, practice gratitude and mindfulness. I will talk about this. I'm sure I talk about it at least once a day to somebody, the power of gratitude and mindfulness. Mindfulness is being present in what it is that you're doing. I spent probably a decade or two when I was raising my kids and working and having businesses where I was not mindful or present. I was just going through the motions that I thought I was supposed to go to have a successful life. And it fried me, literally fried me and burnt me out. And I feel like I did a disservice to everything during that time period. Of course, because we always judge ourselves more harshly than other people do. But practicing gratitude and appreciation and journaling and being mindful and meditation and hypnosis and visualization and goal setting and all of those tools that we talk about help me to be at a higher emotional energy state. And that's where I want to be most of the time, right? If I'm not, I use one of these strategies to say, okay, well, maybe I just need to rest. Maybe I need to take a 5-minute walk or a 10-minute walk or a half an hour walk, or I just need to move my body in a different way to re-energize and get myself enthusiastic about the thing that it is that I say I want to do. Or, you know what I mean? Okay, that's it. That's all we're talking about today. If I can help you in any way, please ask. That's what I'm here for. Otherwise, go out, make it an awesome, an emotionally high energy day. There we go. Have a great day, and I'll, of course, see you tomorrow. Bye.